Thank you for tuning in. We are back again with another edition of the GCC Leadership Series, and today we are at RTX in Bengaluru, and I will be talking to Sourabh Gupta, the Digital Program Leader APAC for RTX. So thank you, Sourabh, for joining us again. Firstly, congratulations on winning the GCC Innovation Award this year. So let me just sort of start off with your innovation journey. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening here at RTX. What's your innovation mantra?
Thank you for being here, and thanks a lot for the award. We really appreciate partnership with EY. On the question, I think we started the journey about 2 years back. When we thought of India, innovation was our top priority. And just to share, innovation is part of RTX DNA. It's one of the 5 values we live by. And when we came to India, like we were starting, we were extensively dependent upon the extended ecosystem. Over the years, in the last 2 years or so, we have built on the 3 levers of people, process, and technology. We have built capability of in-house innovation.
And how long have you been here now?
We have been in India for about 2 years now. So fairly new in the journey of GCC in India, while some of our business units like Collins have been here for over 8 years. On the innovation journey, on the 3 areas, what we started doing, we started hiring the right people. So we have a small team of people who understand innovation and how to go about the same, have that background. We started building technology. For example, we have labs now. We have access to a lot of tools that we need to drive innovation and the various stages of innovation. And on the processes front, we created those processes which we required to run those events, run those innovation activities within the organization.
And these labs are here in this building?
Absolutely. We have labs here. We have a training center where we have actual engines in Hyderabad. So we have built those capabilities in this building, which is in Bangalore, also in Hyderabad, where we have a second facility.
And so now you spoke about the ecosystem, right? What kind of interaction do you have currently? Is it with the startup ecosystem? Is it with academia? How is RTX today collaborating with the external ecosystem?
We collaborate with all players in the ecosystem. So we are in touch with academia. We work on those areas. But our extensive amount of work, because it's startup and more incubator, happens with startups and incubators in this space. So we have events where we call startups in a pitch day format, a Shark Tank format. They come and present to our leadership. We have that kind of model. We also participate in various incubator events as industry expert. We send our teams, I participate to understand what is happening around in that ecosystem space.
So Shark Tank, that's interesting. So now what happens with those ideas? How do you take it forward?
First of all, we start from the business. We understand what are the key critical priorities. We understand where the technology can solve some problems. We have a going-in theme which can potentially develop into a use case. Then we get the expert of those areas, and we identify startups in those areas. On a certain parameters, we select 5 to 6 startups to come and present their value proposition in 5 minutes kind of a thing.
But do you fund them at all?
Yes, innovation cannot happen without funding. We have well-defined process of stages where we start with a POC. We fund a smaller amount and they develop a relevant POC which works in aerospace and defense environment. Considering that they're able to deliver on the requirements of POC, we have prototype, the funding increases. And from prototype, it goes to production. In production, the funding actually comes from our business units, and they put a large pool of money as customer. And that's the model that we follow in RTX.
And the area where you operate in, Sourabh, is quite advanced from a tech perspective, right? And it's constantly evolving. Now you have areas around sustainability, etc., which have a huge impact, especially when it comes to areas around aircraft engines, etc. How do you keep your employees skilled as you move along this journey, because technology is changing every day? Are there any large L&D programs that you're running? How do you keep them relevant today?
Absolutely. So I think, as I said, right, in our space, the technology, as you also rightly said, changes every day, right? And employees are core to drive that innovation, ensuring that they adapt to that change. So we use various mechanisms. First of all, we have a very extensive learning and development program. We have yearly targets that all employees achieve as part of their individual development plan, where they spend concrete amount of time in learning new stuff. But that doesn't stop. As a team driving innovation, we primarily use 2 tools to drive innovation. One is that we use internal ecosystem, where employees are encouraged to give ideas as part of our internal platforms like Spark Day. They come up with all the brilliant ideas and they get to present to the leadership, and best ones are picked. We also use external ecosystem, as I talked about. We ensure that a lot of startups come and talk to our employees. They come and present how do they do things differently. So that also encourages employees to go above and beyond how really innovation is done in a startup space, right? And that changes the way how they look at things. So I think both the things and a lot of other tools that we use to drive that change within employees so that they are abreast with the latest technologies.
Got it. Now let's talk a little bit about challenges, right? And every time we speak to a GCC or the leadership within the GCC, they always talk about challenges in terms of their initial journey, their more business as usual journey, and then the maturity curve. You've been here for 2 years. Talk to us a little bit about maybe your top 2 or 3 challenges that you faced in setting up and growing this center. But more importantly, given that you are operating in a very sensitive sort of a space, it's not really, how should I say, very similar to a lot of other GCCs. A very sensitive area, a lot of high tech here. So what are some of the challenges that you face on an ongoing basis, and how do you overcome them?
So one other thing, Arindam, that we realized was that it's very important to set it right? And typically when you set up a GCC in India, it is always a labor arbitrage, cost advantage kind of a model. We are very clear, thanks to the innovation being part of our philosophy, that we want to come to India for the right reasons. Right? It's the right skills, availability of a talent, creative work done by the startups. So when we started, there was a lot of change management, a lot of people at a middle management level haven't worked with teams in India and things like that. So we set it right. We always maintained that it's one team. It's nothing but the same team. It just happens to be located in anywhere else in US or in Europe. This time some people happen to be in India. So first of all, that overall global culture that we bought from the parent entity and the collaborative environment helped. That we are all part of the same organization. We have the same badge, we have the same logo, and we stand for the same values.
And what are some of those values that you stand for?
Innovation is a great value. Trust is another value that we stand by. Accountability is a great value that we stand by. So combination of all these factors created what we are today.
And how important are those values when it comes to you going out into the market and actually acquiring talent? Let's say from the outside in, looking at RTX, how do they perceive RTX? Is it an easy acquisition of talent for you, or does it have challenges given that you're fairly new into the system?
So I think our rich legacy worldwide helps, and that's something that with access to internet and a lot of great work being done by our branding team, people are able to Google and find the rich heritage that comes with RTX. Right. So that helps. Certainly we spend a lot of time and money on getting the right branding done. But there are challenges from an India market when you compare us with a B2C player where you see them on every hoarding, and then suddenly you talk about a B2B brand like RTX. There's a lack of awareness and there are challenges associated. Right. That is where we came up with a very innovative thing, saying that our first set of employees are our ambassadors. What is the culture that you're setting it up? Set it up right to start with. So the employees that we hire contribute to a very high number of referrals which build the team future. So everybody, when you go to the market today to hire, their first reaction is find the common connect in LinkedIn and then take the feedback of a company. So we took our employee journeys very, very seriously. We have put processes in place where they have enough time, enough work-life balance. They're fully part of, integrated to the global team. They don't stretch beyond what they're expected to, while they go an extra mile to deliver a great innovative work. But some of the culture fundamentals were kept in place. And using our first set of employees, hiring them right, nurturing them, has gone a long way in creating and where we are today.
Probably the final question is on global sponsorship, right? Every GCC that operates in this country is sponsored in some shape or form by their global leadership. So when it comes to RTX, how is that perceived? How integral is this center to the overall setup of RTX?
I think the important part when you're starting up, developing the great stories and use cases of amazing work that we have done in last 2 years. But when we started, that sponsorship on the seat on the table was very, very important. So the global mandate was very, very clear that we are going to India for the right reasons. Our leadership was very supportive that this is what we need to do. Our presence through our earlier business units, our presence through Collins and some of the other business units had already proven to be a great success. Just to share with you, as an RTX level, we are about 6,000 people in India now. As an RTX, as a parent company, we are about 250 people at this point in time. But we are also doing manufacturing in India. So we had a going-in view of what it takes to work in India. That view was shared with leadership and it became leadership vision. So as you rightly said, the sponsorship was very critical, especially in the formative years, where we are still building the value proposition, the use cases, the innovation success that we saw with some of our projects. So that's how we started and that's what drove our journey in India.
So you do have an interesting mix. You have a fairly large commercial presence, you've got manufacturing here, and now you have the engineering center. It's not always the case with every GCC, right? A lot of companies come in without any commercial environment to support them. So good that you have that, and it's sort of, there's some cross-pollination if I understand well.
Absolutely, and these functions support each other. They make the overall India story stronger. And I think it's more concrete play that comes along, which really helps in these scenarios when you have a revenue side of the story, cost side of the story, innovation side of story. All these three pillars come and create what we are today and what we will be in future.
Perfect. So we wish you all the best in your journey. Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, congratulations for winning the GCC Innovation Award. And for those listening in, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back shortly with the next episode in this series. Thank you.